Broadway Interludes presented by Art Lab. I'm your host, Megan Chocolates, and today I am joined by the oh-so-talented Tiffany Renee Thompson. Woo! Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so to start, as I always do, I'd love to know, how did your theatrical journey begin?
Well, I initially started out my life singing. Like, I've been singing ever since I was little. My dad sang in church, and I was always very curious about theater. Like, I watched theater and, like, television. Like, I watched all that, and, like, Fresh Prince, things like that, which always got me, like, interested in acting. And, like, when I was in middle school, I was in, like, the music program, but I was always, like, talking to the acting teacher and, like, oh, so, like, what's this, what's that? Like, I was always very, very curious, but I was never allowed to switch, like, majors. So it wasn't until high school where I was like, oh, we have musicals, and I can actually, like, audition for them. So I auditioned for my first show, which was Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd. Interesting.
Might have heard of it. And I was in the ensemble, and I was, honestly, from there, I became very, very much obsessed with, like, theater. I saw Lion King as my, like, graduation gift from my mom's boss. And, like, it's so cheesy, but when I watched Wicked, I was like 16. And after she sang the finale of Act 1, I was crying. And I was like, Mom, I want to do this. And she was like, this show is too long.
Mom, no.
But I, like, knew then that I was like, I think I actually really want to do this with my life. And it wasn't until, like, senior year of high school, I was going to go to school for poli-science to be a lawyer. El Woods. And my mom was like, I don't want you wasting money going to college for something you don't want to do. And I said, so don't make me go to school for poli-science. I don't want to do that. So last minute decided that I wanted to be a theater major, and then ta-da!
And here you are. Now, I have to bring up the fact that Tiffany and I both went to school in West Virginia.
Mount Mama.
We know all the lyrics. That's one of the, like, qualifications, like, on the application.
Honestly.
Like, do you know the words to country roads? But, so when you went to school, you went to West Virginia Wesleyan.
Yes.
And you pursued theater there. Did you do any shows while there?
I did. So freshman year, I did Godspell.
Okay, come on, Godspell.
And what else did I do? Anything Goes.
Okay, I've done both of those too.
Yes.
Okay.
I did Romeo and Juliet. R&J, because it was, like, a loose interpretation of Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
I was a Romeo, because there were several Romeos. I was a Romeo. I did, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting? Well, that's, there's a reason I'm forgetting. I did, it was a play by David Lindsay Bear.
Okay.
Wonders of the World.
Okay. Okay.
Sarah Jessica Parker played the lead role that I played, which, random casting. Yeah, I can't remember everything else I did, but yeah.
That's okay. We got the important ones.
Yeah.
No, I love Anything Goes. Who are you in Anything Goes?
Ensemble.
And who are you in Godspell?
Ensemble.
Nothing wrong with ensemble.
Yeah,
I've been there 3 times. Spoon number 2, Beauty and the Beast.
I did a lot of ensemble, which honestly, I kind of love being in the ensemble.
Yeah.
Because to me, like, I don't know, that's the meat of the show. Like for instance, when I did see Sweeney Todd the movie, I was so sad because the ensemble was gone, and, like, that's, like, some of the best music in that show is sang by the ensemble. Like, the letter written to the judge, like the 7-person a cappella song that's sang, like, to me, I'm like, that is the meat.
The backbone.
Or the vegan meat, because I'm vegan. But, like, that's the important part of the show. So, like, I don't know. As much as people are like, I want to be a lead, like, I kind of like being the ensemble, because it's, I don't know, it's super important to be there.
No, I agree. I agree with that, you know. Like I said, spoon number 2 in Beauty and the Beast.
Come on.
/ Villager.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Kill the Beast. Like,
Period.
yes, we're running.
Period.
That's my favorite part of that show when, like, Gaston, you know, has the mirror and he's like, look at the beast. Or she's like, he's not the monster, Gaston, you are. And we all scream. That was my favorite 5 seconds. Because we'd go, me and my friend Willie would go, ah! And just, like, overdo it. Because why not?
Yes.
Why not? You're there to sell this story. But anyway, so that was college. How did you end up moving to New York?
I'm from New York.
Oh, hey,
Born and
welcome
raised. Yeah, I know we're like an anomaly at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been in New York City my whole life, which is why I went to school in West Virginia, because I wanted to be far away from home.
Yeah.
Because I've been here my whole life, and I was like, this place is dirty. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, it is a little smelly. Oh, and there's sirens. New York, baby.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, we film on location. Okay, so when you came back after school, how did Little Shop happen?
Well, before the pandemic, I auditioned for Little Shop. Not auditioned, excuse me. I submitted for a Little Shop several times.
Come on, self-tape.
I never got an audition. I didn't even get to do a self-tape. I just submitted, like, headshot, resume, and I was like, I'm perfect for this show. So I did Little Shop at a small regional theater in 2017.
Okay.
Played Crystal.
Uh-oh.
But I sang Chiffon's track.
Okay.
Because sometimes they do that at theaters.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I submitted for Little Shop Off-Broadway, like, a couple times and never got an audition. And then fast forward to 2021, I submit and I finally get an audition. And it was for a vacation cover, which I had never been before. I didn't know what the job really entailed. I was just like, I just want to be in Little Shop.
Yeah.
So I submitted we had to sing The Meek Shall Inherit.
Okay.
Which, fun fact, they have us sing higher than what Crystal actually sings because they want to make sure that, like, we
That's
can
not
actually...
the top.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Crystal sings the top line. And so there's like, you know that make it gonna get what's coming to you. And they have us actually sing it higher than what it is in the show because they want to make sure that we have full vocal ability to sing it. So I had to do that, and I had to do the scene where Audrey comes in late after Seymour's radio interview. And so I had to do that playing Crystal Ronette and Chiffon.
Okay.
And then I had to sing my own song. I sang Move from Dreamgirls because duh.
Yeah, why not?
And then after that, I got a callback and I had to sing Meek again. And what else did I have to do? We did the opener, which I'm a spiritual person, and I was like, I don't know, something in me was like, I really, like, this show is mine. Like, I felt it.
Yeah.
And so I was like on Instagram, and something was like, go to the Little Shop Instagram. So I go to Little Shop Instagram, and I see, didn't know her at the time, but Joy Woods on there with Eleanor, who's a choreographer, and they're teaching the combination. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn this. And I didn't know what combination we were going to be learning at the audition. But I was like, I'm just going to learn this just because I know my nerves. Sometimes I get nervous. And so I get into the audition room. And that's the combination that we're learning. And I was like, okay.
The stars have aligned.
Yeah. I was like, okay. I was like, sign number 2. This is mine. So, yeah, we learned that combination. I had so much fun. And Jeffrey, our associate choreographer, was there. And he taught too. And I just remember leaving feeling like, I think I did it. Like, I was so nervous. I was so nervous. I was like, I think I did it. I think this is mine. Like, I don't know. Just like sometimes you just know. And I just felt it like in me. I was like, I think I did it. But I was so scared because I knew that meant now, like, taking responsibility that I didn't know if I was capable of. Because I was like, I have to cover what?
All of the roles?
Yeah.
What?
So I was at work. I was COVID compliance manager at Moulin Rouge. And I got a phone call from my manager. And I was like, I never get phone calls from her. What's happening? So she calls me and she's like, hey, so you're going to be getting an offer from Little Shop. And I screamed and I started crying. And all my coworkers in the hair room, they were like, is everything okay? Because they weren't sure if it was like a happy cry or like a devastating cry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got it. I booked Little Shop. Oh my God. So yeah, I did it.
There you are.
Yeah.
But then also, like, how many months was it until, you know, that Broadway World article came out? Like, hey, by the way, Tiffany. No, go ahead.
So I was a vacation cover for 9 months.
Okay.
And working a full-time job at Moulin Rouge I worked Moulin Rouge for 10 months. So I was doing COVID compliance and also vacation cover, which you can imagine is fun. But it also worked out because Moulin Rouge is on 45th Street and Little Shop is on 43rd Street. So I literally would just like sometimes get a phone call, hey, you're on for the night. Like, hey, I have to leave, and just run to the theater.
Yeah.
But so I did that for 9 months, and then I was actually like really close to leaving because I was like, I'm ready to be full-time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just felt it. I was like, it's my time. Like, I've put in a lot of work. And not that there's anything wrong with being a cover, but when you are a vacation cover, unfortunately, you don't get to be in the building all the time.
Sure.
So sometimes I felt like I was constantly having to reintroduce myself and reacclimate myself with the space. And I was like, I feel like these people are my family, and I'm ready to like be in the space and like actually get to know everyone on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I don't get to have that, I don't want it. Like, I was like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And so I got a phone call, and my manager was like, hey, do you want to play Crystal? And I was like, duh! Because Crystal is the track. Actually, when I was a cover, I had this straight wig, and we all called it my Dominican blowout, so I would call her Cristal. And I was like, everyone knew that Crystal was my track.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I got the phone call, and then after that, I was like, when can I post it? They were like, you can't yet. And I was like, okay, why?
Yeah.
And I literally I didn't know why. I was like, why can't I post it? And then I, one morning, checked my phone and saw myself on Broadway World and saw myself on Playbill. And I, of course, cried because that was also the first time that an urchin had been featured coming in, because it's really just been like the Mushnicks and the Audreys or the Seymours. So that like meant a lot to like be featured, because a lot of people don't know this, but the urchins are also principals. Like, we're all principals in the show.
You carry the show.
And a lot of people think, oh, you're ensemble. And it's like, no. Not that there's anything wrong with being ensemble, but we're all on principal contracts.
Yeah.
And we are principals in the show. And so, yeah, it just meant a lot to be able to be featured, because I say that to people. I'm like, I'm still kind of a nobody. Like, in the sense...
Okay, go ahead. Fine.
In the sense of, like, you know, like, I'm not a name yet. Yet. So to be able to, like, have my face next to Brad Oscar, who's a legend. I call him Uncle B. I love Uncle B. And Bryce Pinkham was just, like, really cool. So, yeah.
So it's funny because I don't know if I've talked about it on the show, but that's how Tiffany and I met, was back at Moulin Rouge. We were both doing like the COVID jobs in the theater world, which a lot of actors, like, of course, jumped into those jobs because waitering, COVID in Broadway theaters, which one sounds more intriguing? So there we were. That's how we met. And even though we haven't really seen each other in person since then,
or even without a mask.
Without a mask. Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah. And so we became friends through Moulin Rouge, and then we would just like text like COVID results to each other, and then we followed each other on Instagram. So I've felt like such like this distant friendship with you this whole time. And I remember the day that I saw that Playbill article and it was your face, and I got so emotional for you. Just like, I don't know, I felt like we were just, being COVID officers was hard because people weren't always the nicest to us, which is hard when you're in a room with maybe people you've looked up to, or maybe like you're just happy to be in the room. You've dreamed of being in a room like this, watching it happen, and then you're not treated so nice.
Yeah.
it's really like soul crushing almost in a way.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
And so like, there's very few people who can relate to us, but I feel like I was so proud of you. And I was so excited. I told my mom, I was like, hey, my friend Tiffany, look, my friend Tiffany just got in Little Shop. Like, how amazing is that? And so, of course, I had to, as soon as, I was lucky enough to have this show, I was like, Tiffany's coming on the show. And here you are. Now, so, of course, you played Crystal, but you also understudy which roles?
So I understudy Ronette, Chiffon, Audrey, the voice of Audrey 2, and Audrey 2 plant manipulation.
So basically everything.
Yeah.
And out of the urchins, which do you relate to the most to Tiffany?
I feel like as of recently, actually no, maybe always. I feel like I relate to Crystal, honestly, because like a lot of people have said they're like they feel like when they're watching me that I'm not necessarily acting.
I mean, hey,
they're like, yeah, no, that's pretty much you up there. And so I think, Crystal, cause she in the show is kind of the one with like the snappy one-liners and is like very sarcastic. And I'm extremely sarcastic, and I can have a one-liner every now and then to people. So, I feel like I definitely relate. I relate to Crystal in some ways, but I also feel like for a while, a lot of us saw Ronette as kind of like the older sister. But, and as of recently, I think also because I am the eldest on stage urchin, there's 11 years in between me and one of the actors. A lot of people don't know that. But I have felt recently like a big sister, but like, so sometimes I relate it to Ronette in the sense of like, she's like she kind of felt like the protector because she also is like the most verbal out of all of them.
Right.
But I think personality wise, I relate more to Crystal.
Okay, more Crystal. Now, you've been with the show for a while, so I'm guessing that there's been plenty of, backstage mishaps or just funny moments. Would you mind sharing one of those with us?
Of course. So...
Oh, should I brace myself?
So, when was it? It was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, recent.
Yeah. There's when I tell you, live theater, folks, live theater. So we're on stage, and it's me, Khadijah, and Joy, at the time when Joy was playing Ronette. And it's during Get It. And I'm vegan, so naturally, I can be a little gassy sometimes. And it's during Get It, and it's a real quiet moment, and I think, this fart isn't going to be loud. It's going to be super quiet.
Tiffany.
Not only was it loud, it vibrated the seat, so all the girls felt it. And literally, we tried to sing, and none of us could sing. And like, we get off stage, and everyone's like, what happened? I was like, I'm so sorry. And like, Matt was like, y'all sounded so bad. What happened? I was like, I farted. I couldn't hold it. And then the music director walks into the dressing room. He goes, and I was like, this was completely my fault. I was really gassy, and I farted, and they could not help. We couldn't help it, so we all laughed.
What?
So, that's
so funny.
Any on stage, backstage mishap that has happened maybe more than once.
Okay. So, just moving on from that. That was so funny. What other passions do you have outside of performing?
During lockdown, I definitely got more into using my voice to like speak up for people.
Yeah.
So I definitely love and am very passionate about social justice.
Yeah.
And I feel like especially during like lockdown, as a community, we were all able to like really lay out a lot of things that we spoke about in private. that we weren't able to talk about. Well, not that we weren't able, but we didn't feel comfortable and empowered to talk about.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely like social justice and being able to speak up for people who don't necessarily feel like they have voices, or people that do have voices but just don't know how to articulate it sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you're using your platform to do that, though.
Thank you.
I always see it on Instagram. Everyone follow her, by the way. What's your at? What's your name?
Tiffany Renee _T.
There you go. Now, another thing is that you've already mentioned it, but you're a vegan.
Yes.
So, 2-show day, where are you ordering lunch from?
So right now, I am hooked on Pure Kitchen. It's on 46th Street between 8th and 9th Avenue. Okay. I believe it's a small, very small business. I believe it's owned by like a middle-aged French woman.
Nice.
Like she's very kind. I order the vegan Caesar salad. That is my go-to. It has been my go-to. I'm pretty sure that's also the reason why what happened on stage happened. But yeah, it's great. That's what I've been ordering. It's either that or me and Khadijah will sometimes do buy one get one free at Stickies. I don't know if y'all know about that.
Stickies.
Y'all, if you order using Uber Eats, listen. Order using Uber Eats and you get a buy one get one free. So that means you split it with your friend, $7 each.
And you get
a meal.
Jake,
a meal.
Write that down, Jake.
A meal. So sometimes me and Khadijah will do that. We'll get the mushroom poppers and fries, and we'll get the chili, what is it? The sweet Thai chili sauce. But like that is, wow, hello, New York. The sauce just we'll get that together. So that's I haven't done that recently, but like that was me and Khadijah's go-to for like a bit.
I love Stickies.
Yeah.
I live above one. It's very dangerous.
What?
Come over sometime. Oh, we'll hang out.
Yes. I live above a Stickies.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. And they're open till 3 a.m. So again.
Yours is open till 3. Okay.
Well, you come over.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the show.
Yes.
Here's a fun one. Have you ever climbed into the plant for fun?
No. Because I haven't yet. Right. So actually a tradition is that when you leave Little Shop, you get fed to the plant.
That's so cool.
So I'm waiting for that.
Okay.
But no, I haven't. The only time I've been in at least pod 4, which is the big one, is when I've done a snapper track, which is the little baby plant that pops out at the end of the show.
Yeah. Okay, cute. Now, what song from the show is always stuck in your head?
That's hard.
Like all of them.
I know. I'm gonna go with, I guess, maybe You Never Know.
Okay.
Which is like honestly one of the hardest songs.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, I don't know. It's honestly just the end for me.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes I think it's like a Ronette solo that gets stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Cause I got to play Ronette for like a week and a half once. So that gets stuck. But low key, Skid Row, that's my...
A ball.
Like, I really be, like, feeling that song. I'm like, we're not even acting, y'all. Like, Skid Row is, like, that is my jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a good song. The whole Little Shop has the best music.
Yeah.
I always get the Cadillac car line in my, like,
yeah.
Cadillac car. Yeah. Okay, so, if you could suddenly jump into another currently running show in NYC, what would it be? Uh-oh, glasses off.
If I could jump into any show that's currently or maybe like about to start running
on
Broadway, it would be Sweeney Todd.
Interesting. You hear that, Sweeney Todd?
Yeah, it would be Sweeney Todd. It would be Sweeney Todd. It would be Sweeney Todd. I'm just gonna keep saying that again. Would love to literally just be in the ensemble. I have the soprano notes, I have the alto notes, I have the tenor notes. Whichever notes you need, I got.
Whoever is producing on that,
just subliminal messaging here. It would be Sweeney Todd because that show is honestly the reason that I fell in love with theater.
Right.
And so like when I found out it was coming back to Broadway and they were doing it the right way, which is with the full ensemble and the orchestra, I was like, yo, I have to be in it. And I'm still I know they cast it. Shout out to my girl, Galeana, who's about to make her Broadway debut on that show. Yay! I'm still holding out that it's just going to run a really long time. Also, shout out to Cody Renard Richer. He is the stage manager. That maybe one day I'll be able to be in, like, you know, the ensemble whenever people need to not be there anymore, if they need swings or whatever.
Me too. Put us in together.
Please.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
And we'd scream, like, you know, if something happens, we go, ah! It'd be great. So anyway, speaking of roles, what are some dream roles that you've yet to play?
All of them.
Spoken like a true actor.
So I guess dream roles, Beggar Woman and Sweeney Todd, but I'm not old enough for that yet. I don't think so. Recently, I've low-key wanted to play Elle Woods.
I would be in the front row every performance. Someone make that happen.
Like,
whoever's watching.
Low-key, like, it's just been a recent thing where because, like, as a Black woman who's curvy, a lot of people don't like to cast us in, like, roles where we're not, like, robustly, like, belting. Yeah. And I'm like, I really like pingy, like, pop stuff. So, like, sign me up. Or, like, very classic musical theater. Yeah. That I would love to be Papa Gay in Once on This Island. I got to be Urzuli, but I would love to be Papa Gay in that. I also, like, love to be Timoon, honestly.
I love Once on This Island. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's gorgeous.
Trying to think of anything else. I also, in my mind, I feel like there are so many roles that haven't been written yet that I want to do. What else? Oh, a church lady in Color Purple.
Oh, yeah.
Duh. I used to sell merch at that show, and so I've watched that show like over 100 times. Yeah. I could go on, so I'll stop.
No, it's okay.
I would love to be in Lion King. Honestly, just like to chill in the ensemble. So, what else, Tiffany? Honestly, I would also love to be Audrey because I think it would be very interesting to, like, for Audrey to be, like, kind of mid-size, plus size, because that's a different take on the story. Yeah. So, in another life. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that leads me into my final question. So would you like to sing for us today?
No. Yeah.
Suddenly I don't know what to do. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. What would you like to sing?
I will be singing Love Me, Love Me Not by Joey Contreras.
Okay. We're going to listen to Tiffany Renee Thompson singing Love Me, Love Me Not.
What you don't know is that I would do anything for you. What you don't know is that I would do anything for you. Love me not, counting petals on the floor. Stop being so afraid to let our love become more. Take me in. I won't let you down. I'm not a running, I'm not a leaving today. But you can think what you want. There's only so much I can give in you. You don't see all I'm giving away, and I'm asking for you to stay. Love me not, counting
She has the most beautiful voice. I'm the biggest fan. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you again for having me.
Of course, we're going to hang out. And thank you so much for watching. This has been Broadway Interludes presented by Art Lab. See you next time. Bye.